Greetings.
Welcome.
I'm Adria,
I'm Andrea, and welcome to
the Chronic Hustle.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm happy. How are you?
I'm happy too. I like that word.
Happy,
And
joy, happy, joy.
We're here, episode 5.
Damn.
Episode 5. That's a big deal.
We are hustling,
We are.
and we are persisting.
She persisted.
Yes. Okay.
So,
welcome to this episode. We have dubbed this episode Meet Your Baby.
meet your baby.
And people are probably like, what? What? That doesn't even make sense.
We all got them.
Yeah.
Some of y'all have physical ones. We're not talking about that, but we could.
Yeah. Eventually, there will be episodes about
Real babies.
real babies. Well, like actual physical.
That's
tiny
what I mean,
babies.
like-
yeah, I know, because it's not like our babies
ones
are
that need diaper changes.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this. But before we even get into all of this, it is.
Icebreaker time.
Dun,
Dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, that was it. I was gonna.
Oh,
keep
I
it
was
going.
waiting for the. I was the percussion. She's reaching into the box. She's pulling it out. Ooh, ASMR.
Top 3 go-to songs to make you feel good.
Ooh,
I know you got those off the top of your head.
I can start.
Okay.
Okay, this one is like my anthem. I always feel really good when I listen to it. I don't know how to pronounce her name exactly, but I think it's like Desiree.
Mhm.
And it's You Gotta Be good.
You gotta be fine. You gotta be nice.
I
I love that song.
So good. If you listen to it, it just is
just waits.
all the nostalgia.
So uplifting.
Yeah, and then when you like listen to the words, you're like, actually, this actually means a lot to me. It's very good.
Yeah.
So listen to that. You Gotta Be.
Okay.
Do you have one?
The Evils by Sir. It's like D''Evils, and it just is a feel-good song. It's like, it's a bop. It's one of my favorites. Like, if I'm ever in a...
Did you post a video with that song?
I probably did.
Okay.
I probably definitely did. I just love it. It just
Okay.
is like... It's like one of those vibes where it's like, it's all good. No pun intended.
Her shirt says it's all good for the listeners out there.
Yes.
Okay, I have another one. Have you seen the movie The Greatest Show? What is that called?
No.
The Greatest Show. Either way, it's Zac Efron and Hugh Jackman and Zendaya and a phenomenal other list of cast members. And there's a song called "This Is Me," and oh my God, it's a beautiful song.
It sounds like a sweet song.
It's incredible. If you listen to it, it's very empowering, and it's the singer who sings it. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but she's phenomenal. She has some pipes, and she wails on that song. Literally every time I listen to it, I cry. It brings me to tears, but it doesn't take much.
Does it make you feel good?
Incredibly good.
G-O-O-D?
Incredibly good. Oh yeah, I'll cry off of the beauty off of a song quick.
That's actually, I think that's a good sign. The feels.
Yeah. So she's scrolling.
I had to get on my
Her
Spotify because I have so many songs that just make me feel good. I play the same songs every single day. I know the vibe is right.
Yeah.
But one song that I'm thinking of is called The Festival with Mac Miller and see, that's why I was like, I need to search for it. Well, it's by Mac Miller, but it's featuring
Yeah.
Pretty Little Dragons.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just the vibe of the song.
Wow, I don't know that song.
Yeah.
I don't know either
I
one of
played
those
that
songs.
one in one of my videos too.
Okay.
All the songs, any song that I add to a video is like, it's because it makes me feel
Yeah.
good. It could have not even be like the mood when I made that video.
Yeah, same.
You get what I'm saying?
Same.
Because most of the time I'm
Totally.
getting on the mat is to
Yeah.
release some things.
Yeah.
But then I'll put like just a feel good song
Yeah.
on top of it, and it
Yeah.
changes the whole vibe.
I have one more.
Okay.
Tony Braxton. Let It Flow.
Okay.
Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. So good. Because it's like whenever you have like, things that are like kind of weighing you down, it's like, just let go.
Right.
Let it flow. It's
I like
such
that.
a good song.
I like that.
Listen to it. If you haven't heard it, listen to it.
And then I think one that just is like a feel. My last one is "Toast" by Coffee with a K.
I don't know these songs.
I know you would love this song. It's like more of like
Put me on some new songs.
Yeah, upbeat, vibrant,
Yeah.
like island type vibe.
And I love some good T.I. like Motivation.
I like a
Motivation.
little bit of Jeezy. Okay, we getting off.
No, that's a great song. Like when it's
We
like,
said
okay,
top three,
I
top
listen
three.
to like my motivational affirmation kind of song, then it's like Motivation.
Yes.
T.I. That shit gets me going. Hustle.
feel it.
Remember.
I feel
Chronic hustle.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Real quick, Andrea, I am
Yes.
hot.
Oh, you want me to turn this? I'm about to turn this heater off. Okay. Sorry. The heater's going off. What button do I push?
The middle one.
Okay.
Hit it one more time.
One more time.
Hit it one more time. Okay, let it go now.
Let it go. We got 15 seconds to stay warm. And then
We're gonna edit
it's
that
over.
in. We're gonna edit this in somewhere.
Okay. Sorry, yeah, I'm always. I will continue to cook myself. If you ever ride in the car with me, you know everybody
I'd
always
be
is
like,
just
can
like
we crack a
Andrea.
window? I can't breathe.
My sister's the worst. I can't. No.
No.
Our AV guy just tried to open the window. No,
We
don't
don't
do
need
it.
to really
Okay.
crack windows.
Right.
So
We're focused.
we're here.
We're
to
back.
Talk about your baby, meeting your baby. This
Okay.
concept.
So this concept was developed, I would say obviously by you, Adria.
Sure. And then when people started commenting on it, it was like, oh shit.
It's a whole thing.
It is
and
actually
and
a
it's
whole
so it's so easy to reference.
It really is, and it's in almost any area of life we could bring it back around to. It's been really, since I said it out loud for the first time, and since you kind of commented, back, it has. I feel like it's expounded.
Okay, let's tell them.
Yeah.
Let's fill them in.
Yeah. So,
okay, so yeah, you go first.
this concept of your baby. So, I was just on social media one day, and I was just like expressing to my followers just around what it's like to have a chronic illness, and correct me if I like.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
When you're so in the moment and you're just kicking like the real, it's hard to like say it verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just kind of reminiscing on the fact that I've had a child or a diagnosis or a chronic illness for 14 years. And my child is 14 years old.
Yeah.
And what I've learned about my child and how in the beginning it was really difficult and I didn't understand my child. I didn't know what made my child, cry and what made it calm down. And I've been experiencing this whole other entity for 14 years. And it is like having a kid, and it's like tending to your child and like making sure your child is well taken care of. And so
I think that day you were talking about how like you look back and you were like, I'm at a point where I'm thriving.
Yes,
Yeah, like you were speaking to your strengths that day.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, and it's amazing now because I speak to my strength more now than ever because things have vastly changed
And as you
for me.
should.
Yes.
Because this is where you are.
Yes.
The power of now.
Yes, and it took, growth and puberty and, it took different aspects of my child to develop in order for me to get to this point. So that day I was just like, I just kind of like had an epiphany that I've been living with this for 14 years and this is my baby. Like, this is my child. You would never abandon your child. You would never, turn your back on your child. You would do whatever you could in order to help your child. And when I think of receiving a diagnosis and I think of the life that you have to lead after diagnosis is one of, and it speaks loudly to your episode last time of having to do the research, like having to get knowledge. Like when you find out that you're pregnant, what do? You start researching.
Absolutely.
What is it going to be like to give birth?
Yeah.
What is it going to be like for the next, 9 months?
You talk to other people.
You talk to other people.
You talk to moms. You talk
Absolutely.
to people who've had babies. You talk to experts. You talk to doctors. Yeah.
And just imagine if we did that with our diagnosis. So what expounded on this though is you. And
so she was talking about her. I'm gonna jump in.
Come on.
She was talking about her strengths, like I have this 14-year-old kid now, and I know how to talk back. My kid likes to talk, and I'll talk back. Like, look, come on.
Yeah.
And my kid just comes along like, all right.
Yeah.
And so while I was listening to this, I was like, okay, so if her condition is 14 years old. I just got diagnosed last year. Hasn't even been a year. I was like, so I have a newborn?
A newborn.
And it's like everything kind of clicked and started making sense as far as like how chaotic I felt, how tired I felt, how exhausted I was, how clueless I felt. Like there's been so many times that Adria and I have like met at the studio. We teach at the same yoga studio for people who don't know. And where she's offered me so much, just like wisdom, from a standpoint of being where I was at one point in her life. And it was so helpful. It was so validating. And I felt so seen by Adria. And so, yeah, it was like being a new mom.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone being like, it's okay. How about this?
Yeah.
I'll pet your baby for a second
Sure.
right now.
Yeah.
And you just sit there.
Yes. And like I think it is a comforting aspect to have because it takes the pressure off of needing to know how to have everything in order right after your diagnosis, because when you get a diagnosis, your anxiety is extreme, I think, for anyone at any point in your life. It doesn't matter if you're 12 or you're 50 getting a diagnosis. When you get that kind of confirmation around what you've already been experiencing. So let's kind of bounce back a little bit, right? In your last episode, you were talking about the pain that you were having and how someone asked you, are you in pain? And you kind of were like, imagine when you think someone is pregnant, but you don't actually know. And then you're like, are you pregnant? And they're like, how that's like an offensive thing to ask.
Yeah.
And that like for a lot of us, we don't even know that we're
but
pregnant.
Then imagine being like, oh shit, I am pregnant. Like first it's like, bitch, why would you ask me if I'm pregnant? Sorry, that's just how I talk, y'all.
No worries.
And then like you kind of think about it, and then you go home, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, let me actually take this test. And then it's like, oh my God, I am pregnant.
Yep, and your belly starts to grow and all these things, and then
it's like, I didn't even have sex.
Exactly. Exactly. And then your diagnosis is when you give birth. So any time before that, you're like, just like becoming a mother, you're never the same. Like before you become a mother, you're not a mother. You're never the same after you give birth. You're a mom now, and nothing will ever be the same. And when you receive your diagnosis, there's a level of acceptance. Like you have to accept that your child is coming home with you.
Right. Like you went into the hospital as an individual, somewhat individual,
and you then come out with
a whole other entity.
Yeah.
Of you. Of your life.
Yes.
And same thing.
Yeah, and when we think about our kids, we don't think of like having to, like even if you had a problem child or a troubled child, like you don't think of like the need to get rid of, right? It's just to aid and to help and to ease. And I like the perspective of treating it like it's your baby. One, because when women give birth and they have their babies, what people ask them, how are they doing?
Yeah.
How's your baby? I think that is something that we need to be, if you're aware that someone has a chronic illness or a chronic condition, how about asking them like how they're doing with that?
And it's okay.
It's okay to ask.
I have you, and I have one other person who has a chronic condition who asked me very directly, how's your body feeling?
Yeah.
You know, and the way that it's asked, there's enough time for me to, and it's like in a safe space where don't feel like it's a rushed
Yeah.
question. It's genuine. It's different than, hey, how you doing today?
It's way different.
It's so different.
It's specific. And it's also acknowledging that I know that this is an everyday thing that you're dealing with. And not to hide from that.
Yes.
The same way that being a first-time mom is extremely difficult. Having a child is extremely difficult. You have some women come down with postpartum depression. There's so many
parallelisms
and so many aspects. And I'm really grateful that we did grow this idea of this baby, because it brings in an aspect of being gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
And it also brings in the aspect of those around you acknowledging that you just gave birth. You just gave birth a year ago. So when you're talking to me about, what you're feeling and how you're feeling, I have an understanding, one, because yes, I've been there, but also you're in your first year where you're just getting your feet wet in any and everything. And
and imagine a newborn baby crying. You done changed its diaper, you fed it, you burped it, you have it in clean, warm clothes, and guess what? It's throwing a whole tantrum. And I don't know what to do at that point with that baby. That's exactly what I felt like with my condition, because I was still trying to learn how.
And you still are.
And I still am.
And you still are.
2 weeks ago was a struggle for me.
And like your baby could turn 14 and now they have a voice of their own. But you also have, you're in a different phase of your life.
Yes.
And now the dynamic changes where it's like those things that came up in the past, you know the disposition of your illness or your child, so you know how to approach. You're more confident to take different approaches.
Right.
You're more confident. And one thing I'll say is that I'm a new prenatal yoga instructor, and so a lot of these references, they make me really excited, because one thing that we say to mothers is like, you're the perfect mother for your baby. We have these ailments and these conditions and these illnesses, and we are match made. Okay? If they weren't designed for us, we wouldn't have them. Like, you're designed and completely equipped with what you need in order to navigate your illness.
Absolutely.
In order to learn, in order to educate yourself. And that's why I love bouncing back to your episode, because there's so much self advocacy and education happening. And like we always say, like, knowledge is power, and you are the perfect human for your condition or your illness.
Everyone listening.
Everyone.
Yes.
Everyone. And just to add another layer, you could be listening to this and you might not have a chronic illness or chronic disease, but I always say that people have chronic somethings in their lives, right?
That's true.
We're all dealing with something on a daily basis that we're working to overcome or change. Period.
Come on.
And sometimes that results in physical pain. Sometimes that results in emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain.
Absolutely.
We're all learning these things. And the biggest thing for me, and even like meeting your baby, is accepting that this is your baby.
Yeah.
Acceptance. And that's something that as we grow, and even on the journey, I feel like you get closer to acceptance.
Yeah.
Acceptance doesn't happen early on.
Right. No. And like, how some people are like, okay, when I have a kid, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be the best mom ever. I'm going to breastfeed. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you have this whole plan.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I was. I was like, great, I have EDS. I'm gonna write this book. I'm gonna teach all these hypermobile people how to like move their bodies and da da da. And my baby was like,
yeah, your baby is like, come take care of me first.
My baby was like, no, mom.
Yeah, come learn me.
Yeah.
It takes 6 to 10 years to master something.
Right. So acceptance first, like, just hold on. Just let it all soak in for a second.
Yes. And you want to know something like...
Like, there's so much pressure.
There's so much pressure, and especially again, like,
and we put that pressure on ourselves.
We do. We absolutely do. We put that pressure on ourselves, and I think we always like we talk about how we show up in wellness differently.
Yeah.
We show up in wellness, differently. I think in the industry we're in as well is like, you should, like you said, you should be healthy and well and all these things.
Yeah.
And I know for me, there were times where I didn't even want to be honest about my illness because I felt like people would judge me and feel like I wasn't healthy. And people would say things to me like, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? And all these different things. And I felt ashamed that I had an illness and I was in wellness.
Yeah.
The same way like women want to get a job and they don't tell people that they're a new mother.
Mm-hmm. Or they want to get a job and they don't want to say, hey, I'm pregnant.
Yep. Or I have kids at home. Because those kids might get sick and you might have to call off and you might have to miss work. And it's just very...
Yeah. And you know what? Sorry.
No,
you can finish
go
that.
ahead.
Okay, because I wrote that on my little list of things. Yeah, coming out. That's also another term, like coming out of that closet of quote unquote like healthy or appearing to be without a condition when you actually have quite a few things that you're working through. And I think that that's really important to, like, for me, I had a moment where I talked to you and I talked to maybe just like a handful of other people where I was like, I need to come out and be honest with the people at the Studio One, because I felt like I was hiding. I felt like I was hiding an aspect of myself.
Yeah.
And
an everyday aspect to yourself.
Every day. And yeah, it's so different. It just adds another layer when you are in the wellness industry.
It absolutely does.
And I'm definitely, I would say I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Okay.
And I felt like I had to be perfect, not just well and healthy. I had to be perfect, and that's something.
Another layer.
Because
that's a lot of
society
people.
Conditioning.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people. Like I can relate to that. I think for me, it was more so I felt like I couldn't bring that aspect into what I was doing, and then I went through something really trying, and I realized that it was literally what I needed.
Yes.
To bring into the space.
Absolutely.
That actually made me feel more validated in the space. Like I use yoga, mindfulness, meditation in a way that is helping my baby, which is helping my baby. My baby's 14 now.
Yeah.
My baby, like she knows what she likes, what she doesn't like, but it took going through that and learning about yoga and learning about mindfulness to really aid in that. If I didn't have those aspects,
right,
I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
Absolutely. It speaks to, as far as like for me with the perfectionism, like breaking through that, like, so going back to the meet your baby, analogy, say I was a mother and I had a baby and I was trying to learn how to like breastfeed and it didn't work. And then feeling like a failure and then being able to talk to another mom who was like, I tried it too and and we can share in that moment. With my condition, I remember there was at this point, I knew I had my diagnosis and I was wearing a knee brace, and someone came into the studio and she was very intimidated to come in and practice. And she was like, I've injured my knee and I've been in a lot of pain. I'm going through physical therapy and I can do yoga now at this point. And she was like, but I'm just nervous. Are you guys going to be like really hard on me? And I walked around the desk and I had this knee brace on, and immediately she connected with me. Yeah. It was that moment where it was like, we're in this together. And I do this yoga, and no, my body is not perfect. And I am stronger because I do this yoga and I have this connection.
I love when you share stories like that, because that's the whole point of this. is to cultivate that community. But also, I just had like a realization that how many, yoga instructors or people even in the wellness industry are hiding ailments that they have in order to keep up a facade that we're perfect and that yogis are the healthiest people on the planet and all these things. I really love when you share stuff like that because it humanizes the experience that we're having, and it cultivates that community where you can.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're here, so that it's not just in pockets of you and I talking. We know that we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones out here. We know we're not the only yoga instructors out here, or entrepreneurs, patients. We know that. And so meeting your baby is really just a declaration to say, like, meet another aspect of you that isn't going anywhere, that you are capable of growing, capable of feeding, capable of nourishing and educating and living a beautiful life with. I truly believe that in time. A baby doesn't grow overnight. No. It takes time. Yeah. My baby one day will be 30 years old and it will still be my baby.
Aww.
Will still be my baby, right? So, I think that's pretty like...
Right. Love on your baby.
Love on your baby. It's okay.
Love on your baby.
Love on your baby. Be patient with yourself. And keep educating yourself. Yeah. Keep looking for the answers.
Absolutely.
And we'll expound on this idea more. It's going to come up often, so I'm excited for that.
Check our social media. We're going to have like a cute video about Meet Your Baby, to kind of like summarize it. Yes. You can explain it. If you want to show it to like one of your friends, like they don't understand what you're talking about.
Or you can share like your baby with us. We would love to meet your baby.
Yeah. We'll get a cute hashtag for that.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to sign off from here, but if you have any questions, you can email us at thechronickhustle@gmail.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at The Chronic Hustle. My personal, Adria Moses.
Mine is Andrea Mahal.
Yeah. And so thanks for joining us, episode 5. We'll see you next time. Peace.